Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the December ELA Tech Talk titled Health and Safety, Implementing Common Health and Safety Lessons for the Workplace. My name is Jamie Trujillo, and I'll be moderating today's webinar. Your presenters today will be Dawn Dutton and Montserrat Ollanadel. We are all from NMDELT. Before we get started, I just wanted to make sure that everybody remembers to type your name and your program name in the chat box. If you cannot do that, you can always email me at jamie@nmdelt.org, and I can give you credit for attending today's webinar. If you are watching from a mobile device and you have it horizontally, you won't see the chat. But if you move it vertically to where the video is smaller, you can see the chat. So that might be an issue if you're watching from a mobile device. With that, I will turn it over to Dawn and Monse.
Thank you, Jamie, for that introduction. Hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
We are glad to be here. So we want to say thank you for joining us. And if you're listening live or online, we want to welcome you to our last English language acquisition ELA TED Talk for this fall 2018 session. This is actually the last one. We made it. We are so excited.
Yay!
I know, yay. These series are designed to help teachers like you, me, and Dawn to help learners and instructors in adult education programs throughout the state of New Mexico. So as you know, we are Monse and Dawn representing NMDELT. You can see our contact information on the screen, and we want to let you know that we are here to support you and also to share our experiences as English teachers. As you know, we make a lot of mistakes, but also we had a lot of positive outcome from our lessons, and we want to share and create this opportunity to connect with you. So today we will be talking about health and safety, implementing common health and safety lessons for the workplace. So again, I'm here with Dawn, my co-presenter and my partner in crime.
That's me.
I love that. We've been working so hard for this last let's say 4 months, trying to put together this series of TED Talk. So in case you are new to these sessions, and if you're watching live now or you are checking this recording later on our website, we want to give you a little background about what we do. So we are the New Mexico Distance Education and Learning Technologies, NMDELT. So we are a team of teachers throughout the state of New Mexico who provide support and training related to online and blended learning practices in adult education. We work with other educators to implementing and supporting best practices. We also offer training and support for different platforms, technologies like G Suite for Education, NROC, Edmonton, Plato, and as well as several other open access online resources. So today we will review and share some of these resources with you, and we hope these tools can help you to enhance your English lesson plans. Next slide, please.
Good day, everyone. Our objectives today are to wish you happy holidays. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to everyone. And I have to mention the NMDELT webinar from yesterday. Terry did a fantastic job. And if some of you are expecting singing today, you'll be sadly disappointed. I will not be singing, and you'll be happy about that, actually. I'm going to jump right into our objectives for today, and I'm hoping that we can help you all to explore activities that relate to communicating health issues in English, and to add relevant health and safety topics to your ELA class that relate, of course, to career preparation as well as in-home concerns involving health and safety. We want to engage students in safety topics related to work and their lives, of course, making it relevant, and prepare students for recognizing and reporting emergencies, both on themselves and on others, and at work and in home. Next slide, please.
So with that said, Don, thank you for that. Now we want to do a quick check-in. As always, we like to do this a little engaging, activity. So I want you to take a couple minutes to think about this question. We will be using poll everywhere. So if you're not familiar, you can use your computer or your phone. So the question is, what kinds of topics do you include in your lesson plans that are health and or safety related. For instance, calling a doctor, contacting a supervisor about illness, keeping household cleaners away from children, and more. So, if you want to share with us what do you do to teach these topics now, please get your phone or get online and just text us or write your answer. So we will wait a couple minutes to get it going. And Jamie will help us to moderate.
Absolutely. If you have any issues, please feel free to put it in the chat. But I did find that participating via text message is really simple. So.
Okay, so
All right.
going.
I'm going to go ahead and go to the next slide so that if anybody responds, and you can see the top, how to connect still if you haven't yet.
Okay, I'm seeing some answers. Thank you for playing around with us. Oh, this is growing. Dan, are you seeing that? So calling, we have illnesses, bottle poisons. Good. We are for sure we are going to review and talk about some of these topics today. Medication, that's really important. Perfect. So let's give it a little bit more to see if we get other answers.
Yeah, I think I'm glad the talk is big and doctor, but also I think listening and understanding should be there too.
True. Well, we're gonna cover a lot of these topics, right on?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Thank you for participating. Let's move forward. Thank you, Jamie. Next slide.
The main idea again here, as I mentioned, is to reach our students, infuse our lesson plans with mandatory career-ready kinds of things, and a way to get our students career-ready is to have them aware of safety concerns that are very common in workplaces. Fortunately, most of those things relate to home concerns as well, like at home we need to recognize distress in people or machines or things that might be in distress, get help in an emergency, of course, diagnose a problem, medical problem, or a problem with something else. In-home remedies, of course, are very important. Read poison and toxin labels. We have so many things in our homes that are cleaners, that are medicines, that are any variety, even some foods that we can only eat in small amounts or like that we need to keep safely. And the last thing about storing dangerous products safely, they're very important for the home, but at work also, when we're working with a team, we're working with as a colleague, we need to be responsible for our team and our building and all of that. We need to recognize when a coworker is in trouble and be able to get help and report to the right people, and ask the right questions in a situation like that. And if you're in a place where you're expected to maybe provide first aid, or you have a defibrillator. Can you work an AED machine? Can you do CPR? Can you read the instructions on those kinds of things and safely work with chemicals and store chemicals? So all of those things kind of blend into to the lesson plans that we want to talk about today. And again, trying to make it relevant for, every one of our students is not looking for a job or not working. So we want to make this relevant for them in their own homes as well. Next slide, please.
Thank you, Don, for mentioning that, because the transition of this, the slide that you just were talking about, is make it relevant and meaningful to the students. So before we think about careers and workforce and all those big words, we have to make sure that it's relevant and meaningful to the students. So here I'm going to talk. I'm going to share with you one of my lesson plans that I used this semester, and it was really successful. And also, I was trying to connect everything, so it made sense. Sometimes I found that a lot of the lessons, they are so segregated, or they are not connected. So sometimes the students get lost, or they don't see the meaning of it. So let's start what I did in the class. So I started with winter vocabulary. We are in, I teach in Taos, New Mexico, and it's been a good winter so far. We got some snow. It's been cold, and I know for the people that love to ski, this is great. But for people like me, I'm like, oh my god. Anyhow, so the students also, a lot of them, they have some issues related to winter, and I wanted to talk to them about it. So we start talking about, for example, driving in the snow, bad weather, black ice, shoveling snow, winter clothing. So all those components are really important to just mention, and to be able to understand and assimilate in a new culture and a new country. Then we talk about the issues. So I asked them openly. We did some activities. So what are the problems that you encounter during the winter? So children-related problems, sickness, I don't know, a 2-hour delay came, driving, transportation was another problem. So of course, you can do that in your own area. And with that, illness and sickness came out. And then it's where I introduced all those concepts and symptoms and the flu, cold, realize the difference between those two. And then I combined technology, the instruction, and the professionalism skills in the lesson. So the first thing that we did, we got an email, an MDELT email. Every student has one. We also use Google Classroom to storage all that content. But besides that, I wanted to go slow, because for a lot of them, technology is hard, and I didn't want to scare them. And also, our main goal is to teach English as well. So first, I did a couple activities where I use a free Google Voice, this application of Google that I love. And I have a free Google number that you can get every time that you use Google Voice. So students were practicing how to leave a voice message to the teacher when they have to call to the program. And the person that answered the phone usually doesn't speak, in the morning especially, doesn't speak any Spanish or any other language, just English. So students have to leave a message in that language. So they have to be proper, they have to mention the time and consider all those requirements in order to make it effective. So we practiced that a couple times. Then we did that, the same exercise, but now to their supervisor or boss. So that also was really fun for them to use their boss or supervisor name and the time. We practiced all that. After that, we got into a situation that what happened when your supervisor doesn't answer the phone because he's in a meeting or he's outside working. So we talk about sending professional emails. So we created a script with all the information that is important, and they send an email. And also communicating sickness and missing work. So the main skills that we practice with this is, of course, speaking, listening, and writing. A little bit of reading, but mainly it was a lot of role playing and going around and try to make this situation real and meaningful to them. Next slide, please. So with that said, and that's what I wanted to share that picture, because in the beginning of the semester or the session, I asked them, what are the skills that you really feel afraid or you like to master or practice during class? And of course, they said talking on the phone, leaving a message, be able to have a conversation. So for this reason, I use the tools that I mentioned before. And this is a result. We Google, this is a like evidence of the activity. So this is a message that my student Maria left to me. And as you see, Google Voice gives you a transcript of what of the message. So that helps a lot and helps the student. Then the other thing that we did before I showed that, we will listen the message and we will take notes. So you also could practice how to take notes, and that will be a great realistic example of how to practice listening. The next step of this, of course, is transform and evolve to new lessons. So the next thing that we were working on was identify resources in our community. Where is the hospital, the urgent care, then making an appointment with a doctor, like in the office, how to get to the office, using maps in your community. That's really helpful too, because you know that that's a skill that gets commonly asked on the test. So of course, it's better if we do it more realistic. We talk about insurance and all the different ways to pay, filling forms, also understanding and asking for clarification when you go to a doctor and you don't understand what he or she is saying, payments, medications, and more. So it was a really good lesson, and I encourage you to get creative because there's a lot to do. And if you have any questions, you let us know and we can help you to play around with these tools. Next slide, please.
Mostly, I love that lesson. That's just fantastic. I want to show you this site that I'm working with my class. I looked at this site called ESL Flow. There's a variety of things. I've used this site thanks to Claudia Lopez, actually, for showing me this site. This particular exercise has to do with poisons and toxins. It's a pretty simple thing. This particular page here is a little bit advanced, maybe for all ESL students, but nevertheless, I like the pictures here. They're well done graphics here, and I think you can see all of these and look at the words here. The vocabulary words in the middle of the page: destroys, waste, poison, carcinogenic, symbol, toxins, poisoning, toxic, poisonous, hazardous. So a couple of the same words there in a noun form or an adjective form, but all good work. I encourage you to check out ESL Flow. You can go to the site and see the remainder of this page. What you're seeing on the screen is just the top of this page. So what I did with my class is I kind of worked with them. This was a little bit difficult for them. I teach a level 1 class here, and this was a little difficult for them. I helped them put these words into the page, and we practiced the sentences, we practiced the pronunciation, then we closed our books and did a spelling test. So it was all in all a good lesson, and of course it's real important to point out, or even grab a couple of things from your house and see if they have these words on them, or look online for just products. As an extension activity, you can always search online and look at product labeling and see if they can find these words and what things are listed as these things. They might be surprised that as many things, a lot of things out there that we have in our homes and at work are have these words on their labels. Next slide, please. I have a video here I want to look at that has to do with symbols and colors. I really like this part because we know that we are responsible for teaching our students to read, and typically we think of reading words. Of course, we all know that we need to do more than that. Our students need to read charts and graphs and symbols and maps and all kinds of things. And here's an example of really important things that in the job site or at home. What do these symbols mean? The colors all mean things, and the shapes mean things. Most of us can think of a red octagonal sign, and the word stop comes to mind. We don't necessarily need to know what stop means. We know what that symbol means. So here we're going to look at 5 symbols, and again, I have a video to follow this. It's kind of cool. But what symbol means prohibition? And here's your vocabulary words built in right there anyway. What does it mean to prohibit something? Or what is prohibition? What does that mean? And what does mandatory mean? What is a warning? What is a warning sign? What is a safe condition? Fire equipment, maybe most people understand that. A symbol with a line through it over here on the right. It's red. And what does blue mean? What does green mean? Well, yellow, a yellow triangle, that means a warning of some kind. So let's next slide and see what those things mean. I've put together some pretty common symbols. Next slide, please. Of a circle with a line through it. Well, then in class, I would encourage you to use a slide like this or use symbols like this, and then ask the question, where would you see a no entry sign? Why is it there? What happens if you don't follow what it says? What could happen if you entered a place that said no entry? For what reasons would someone have a no entry sign on a door or a fence or a gate? A lot of discussion involved with these signs if you want to do extensions with it. A blue solid circle has to do with high visibility clothing. We know that, even in the grocery store and Home Depot or whatever, we see guys and girls walking around with maybe they're moving a little pallet of something with a small forklift or something, and they're wearing a safety uh, vest of some kind. So it's pretty important to recognize what this means. The yellow triangle, caution, wet floor. Everybody understands that. And there's other things too. The green sign, a square or a rectangle. Well, fire exits are green. We need to know where those are. And then, of course, fire equipment, a red square or a triangle. In this case, where to push the button for a fire, but also um, we would be looking for red if we were looking for a location of a fire extinguisher. Again, at home or in the job situation, I think as a responsible employee, we need to know where the nearest fire extinguisher is. So it's all good for career preparation as well. I think the next slide, please. I think this is our place where we go to this website, haspod.com. I've used this again for other lessons. This site, this link that I put here goes to this site, Understanding Construction Safety, and then Jamie's scrolling down to the video. Let's go ahead and listen to that now. Thank you, Jamie.
You're welcome. Let me get back to your presentation.
All right.
That's a great video, Don. I can see how the relationship and how this relates to construction and other careers or fields.
Yeah, it's a little fast, but I think it makes a point. Next slide, please.
Well, with that said, too, something that we were talking to with Don when we were planning this training was the drug screening and random drug testing. That happens a lot in New Mexico because, in our area, of course, you're talking here, I bet in the country as well. But what we know from our students, for instance, students that are CNA or they are nurses or going to the health field, they will be random tests at some point in their careers. And it's good to talk about this because we don't mention that, and maybe that happens in their country, but it's also good to let them know and to talk about these topics, but it's because it's a common practice. Another part that is important to talk about this is that we have some jobs, government jobs, such as the Los Alamos lab or Sandia labs, where a lot of our students come to the country and they are able, they qualify to work in this job. So something that we recommend to mention and to at least spend some time is about the importance of drug testing, and also to get a job, and also to keep your job, because it's going to happen through the whole career. So that's something that as teachers we always talk about it, and I mean, but how you do it is a good question, and we have meaningful conversations with the students, and this creates a lot of outcomes, and it could develop a great lesson plan for your class. Next slide, please. So for this first TED Talk, the first time, we wanted to list all the resources we used during this presentation, because when I'm in a webinar, I like to pay attention and maybe take a picture of them and just review them for the last time to get a good picture of them. So we use Google Voice, Gmail, and ESL Flow, the resource that Don shared when he was talking about the poison and toxins. Next slide, please. So we are ending this TED Talk. Thank you for being here with us. This is the last TED Talk of the fall session. We made it, these 4, and as you see, we have the check marks there, so you can see this is so exciting for us, because this was a new project.
Looks wonderful,
right? And we want to say thank you to you for the teachers and participants that we had during these sessions. Also, please, you can go back and check all the recordings on our website, nmdel.org. All the presentations and the videos will be there for you to review later, or come back and check what we've been doing. Next slide, please. So thank you for joining us today. We are the NMDEL team. We do training throughout the state of New Mexico. We support teachers. We have resources, and we want to work with you and share ideas and create a space for networking. We also provide free professional development. So please connect with us. We are available on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and on our website. Next slide, please. So before you leave, please, we would love to hear from you, your feedback. There's a lot of space for growth, and also we need to plan the next session. So if you are interested in any topics that will be helpful for you, please do and write and contact to us. We have a lot of new updates, and we're working hard to create materials and support you through the year, and to help you to be a better, stronger teacher. Thank you for joining.
Thank you all, everybody. I'm going to leave this up for a little bit. Please make sure that when you type in the link that you do capitalize the letters that are capitalized. Otherwise, the link won't work. And unfortunately, I cannot put the link in the chat. So that's why I'm going to leave it up for a little bit. If you have any questions, please feel free to put it in the chat. And for those of you that came on a little later, if you can, please try to put your name and your program name in the chat box so that you can get credit for your viewing of this webinar.
And thank you, Jamie, for being with us. Hold this TED Talk and be the best moderator. Thank you for your help. You do
great work,
very
Jamie.
welcome.
Thank you.
And
Great
thank you
work.
guys for providing wonderful webinars, and we look forward to the spring ones.
All right.
Excited. We don't
All
have
right.
any.
No questions,
Okay.
but of course you can send an email to any of us, and we can, answer any questions you have after the fact. All right.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you all so much, and have a great holiday.
Happy